Hey guys, so I'm going to be showing you how to do the substitution method of the systems of equations. So we're just going to be doing simple problems today. So what is substitution? Substituting basically means to replace something. What would always be the first step? The first step would always be to get either variable by itself, but y is more preferable because it is more common, so it is the best option for you. So there's usually an x and a y in each equation, and it's usually multi-step. And you would have to identify each variable by plugging one into the other. So your answer would always have to be in an ordered pair labeled x and y. Remember that two equations are always involved. I'm going to provide an example of a simple equation that has a variable by itself. So we are starting with the problem negative 5x negative 4 equals negative 9 and y equals 6. So we are going to put the 6 in the place of the y and then set it up into an equation and combine the numbers together. So you will end up with negative 5x negative 4 times 6 equals negative 9. So you're going to combine the 4 and the 6 together. So after combining the 4 and the 6 together, you get negative 24. So your equation now is negative 5x negative 24 equals negative 9, and now you solve it. The rest of this is like a two-step equation. You would cancel out the 24 and you always have to do the same thing to the other side. Then you would end up with negative 5x equals 15. And then you would divide the 15 by negative 5, and for your x you would get negative 3. In this problem, they already gave us y, which was y equals 6. So in other cases, you would have to solve for y by plugging it into the first equation. So your answer would be negative 3, 6, just like an ordered pair. What if you were in a situation that either variable aren't by themselves? Here's an example of what I'm talking about. So for example, negative 4x plus y equals 6 and negative 2x plus y equals 2. You could take one of the equations and get y by itself by solving a simple problem, and you only need to do this to one equation in order to solve it. I took one of the equations, negative 4x plus y equals 6, and then I added 4x to cancel it out on one side, and whatever you do to one side, you do to the other side also. So after adding the 4x to the 6, you would end up with y equals 4x plus 6, because you would need to put the number with the variable before the number without the variable, so you would end up with that equation. It does not matter what equation you change. Your new problem would be negative 2x plus y equals 2 and y equals 4x plus 6. You would put the 4x plus 6 in the place of the y that this arrow is pointing at right here. So this would be your new equation. After you do the substituting, you would end up with negative 2x plus 4x plus 6 equals 2. So the next step would just be to combine the like terms. After you combine the like terms, you would solve this again like a regular two-step equation. You would cancel out the 6 by using the opposite operation, and then you would do that onto the other side too to balance it out. And then you would end up with 2x equals negative 4. So then you would divide the negative 4 by the 2, and then you get x equals negative 2. I had plugged x into the equation 4x plus 6. So the new equation would be y equals 4 times negative 2 plus 6. So you would just multiply the 4 and the negative 2 and then solve it. So after combining the 4 and the negative 2, you should end up with y equals negative 8 plus 6. And once you combine the like terms, you would get y equals negative 2 as your answer. So you should get negative 2, just like an ordered pair again. I hope you have a better understanding on how to solve the substitution method of systems of equations. Was this tutorial helpful?